This conference will now be recorded.
Did you understand me? Good. Have you finished, guys? Not yet? Who has already finished, guys? No one? Okay, guys, let's finish because we don't have time. And I want to ask you one question from the video. Can you please describe the Azerbaijan flag, the first Azerbaijan flag? How many colors did it have? First Azerbaijan flag. Yes, Farid, go on, please.
There were 3.
Yeah, but the first Azerbaijan flag, first Azerbaijani flag.
1.
1, yes, it was red. Yes, so it was very similar to the modern Turkish flag, Turkish Republic. Yeah, and Ayhan, what about the second flag? What time Azerbaijan's first Azerbaijan flag was adopted? Do you remember? By modern Azerbaijan or Azerbaijan Democratic Republic? Yeah. And my question is, what time the first Azerbaijan flag was adopted?
November 9th.
1918, by Azerbaijan Democratic Republic, yes. 1918, November 9, yes. We usually celebrate November 9th as a day of Flag Day in Azerbaijan, actually. Because why? Because Azerbaijan adopted the modern Azerbaijan flags of a modern Azerbaijan Republic, 1918, November 9th, okay? Don't forget, the first Azerbaijan, the modern Azerbaijan flag was adopted in 1918, November 9th, okay? 9th November. But what about if I ask you, how many colors did first Azerbaijan flag have? Of course, it had only one. Yes, Babich.
3, I think. No, actually,
Only
the
one
first
color,
one,
yes.
it would actually have 2 because there's the red and there's also white on it.
Yes, the red color, yes, because
that means the next one was kind of a 4 color because there was red, green, blue, and white.
blue and white, just you mean stars?
And did
8 stars.
Did the flag mean that Azerbaijan's independence? Yes, it did.
Yes.
Ow!
So do you know what does the colors, I mean the 3 colors symbolize in Azerbaijan flag? Blue color shows what? Melech, blue color symbolizes the what? That symbolizes that we are Turks, yes?
Yeah, Turks.
Blue color shows our ethnicity. We are Turkic people, Turks. So, but what about the red color?
The Islam?
Modernity. Red color symbolizes the modernity, democratization in Azerbaijan. And civilized country or nation shows that. But what about the green color? Green? Yes, Farid.
Does it show we're Azerbaijan's?
No, green color shows our religion, Islam religion, yes? Because as you know, most of the Muslim countries use green color on their flags, yes? It shows the religion of the country, actually. Yeah? So that's all. So again, guys, keep in your mind, don't forget, the first Azerbaijani flag was only consisted of one color, red color, but later Azerbaijan Democratic Republic, which was the first first independent Azerbaijan state. I mean that as under Azerbaijan name, of course. So they adopted second flag, which is in now modern Azerbaijan flag. I mean, it consisted of 3 colors. But you may ask me a question, but why they use red color? Why they use Turkish flag at the beginning? Because we had very good relation with Turkey. Maybe Turkey and the Ottoman Empire, which was known as the Ottoman Empire at that time, maybe they forced us to accept their flags to show that we are similar nations. We are very close nations. But later, after the Turkish army withdrew from the Azerbaijan territories because they were defeated in the First World War, then we adopted our own flag, which was significantly different than modern Turkish flag. Yes, 3 colors. I mean the modern Azerbaijan flag. Okay, that's all. Let me to write again here. First Azerbaijan flag was adopted in 1918, November 9th by Azerbaijan Democratic Republic. Yes, November 9th. Okay, so but can you please tell me from the previous discussion, from the last week's discussions? Yes, can you please tell me, was Azerbaijan recognized by international community? I mean that Western countries as independent state, or no? Do you remember that? Did they recognize Azerbaijan's independence? I mean that during the Paris Peace Conference. Didn't you understand my question? Last lesson, guys. Azerbaijan recognition, Azerbaijan's independence by the Western countries, US, United Kingdom. Which country first recognized the independence of Azerbaijan? United Kingdom, yes. Prime Minister of United Kingdom, Lord George, said that there is a possibility that we will recognize the independence of Azerbaijan. Do you remember, Ayhan?
I do.
Yes. Yes. Okay, perfect. If you remember, it's okay. But if you don't remember, no, because I think as far as I remember, we discussed and we spent a lot of time for just understanding this topic. Yeah. So how Azerbaijan was recognized by international community. Yes, Ayhan, do you have any question? If you don't, let's move to the new topic, guys. As you know, although Azerbaijan was recognized as an independent state, but however, Russian Empire was still a very huge threat to Azerbaijan's independence. Yes, because why? Because they thought that Azerbaijan territories belonged to the Russian Empire, so they always wanted to return Azerbaijan territories back to the Russian Empire. But Azerbaijan did not accept it. So Russia occupied our territories again in 1920, April 27. So again, guys, 1920, April 27, Azerbaijan, independent Azerbaijan Democratic Republic, which was the first independent democratic state, yes, was occupied by Russia. Guys, you hear me? Okay, Azerbaijan again was occupied by Russia in 1920. So, guys, how many years did Azerbaijan exist? First democratic Azerbaijan state. How many years did Azerbaijan, independent Azerbaijan Republic exist? From 1918 until
1920.
April 27, yes. Only 1 year and 11 months, yes. So, of course, although it did not exist for a long time, but however, this state, I mean, first independent Azerbaijan state, took very important decisions and took very important steps. Yes, that's why that I usually say, although it only existed very close to the 2 years, however, they play a very important role in Azerbaijan history. Anyway, guys, it was occupied again by Russia again, 1920, Soviet Russia. So we fell under the Russian occupation, and we live under the Russian occupation more than 71 years. Let me to write here, from 1920 until 1991 October. Okay, how many years? 71 years. Yes. Is it clear so far?
I've seen can't understand because you're talking too fast for him. Again.
Okay. Okay, let me to make it slower. Okay. Again, Azerbaijan, the first independent Azerbaijan, yes, republic, only existed 1 year, 11 months. Yes, very close to the 2 years. However, this independent state was occupied by Russian Empire again in 1920 by collaborating with Armenians. Okay, again, 1920, April 27, Azerbaijan territory was completely occupied by Russia. So this period, which Azerbaijan lived under the Russian occupation, more than 71 years, is also known as the Soviet Azerbaijan, or another word, Azerbaijan SSR, Azerbaijan SSR. So we were not independent, guys. We didn't lost our existence, however, as a state, but however, we were not independent. We were dependent on Russia. Okay, is it clear? During this period. What period? From the 1920 until 1991, approximately 71 years. Yes. This period is a little bit difficult, guys, I know, but
you already wrote from 1920 until 1991 October.
And now you wrote it again.
Yeah, it's not from that. I just want to repeat. Maybe you didn't understand. Yes, I want to make clarify for you. Okay, guys, what is the problem? And let's look at what happened to Azerbaijan during the Soviet period, during the occupation of Azerbaijan territories, because we lost our independence. And of course, it wasn't good for us. Living under the occupation was not good thing for independent nation. Yes. Once we experienced independence, we lost again our freedom and independence. Of course, it's not a good thing for the independent nation. Let's look at what happened to Azerbaijan during that period. First of all, they just took our oils and got benefit from our oil and improved their own economy by just taking our oil, just confiscated all our resources, took our oil resources and used for their own benefits. Okay, this is one point. And on the other hand, they not only occupied Azerbaijan territories, but also they restricted our rights, our freedom, and they restricted our culture, tradition, religious beliefs, our language. Yes, everything were restricted by Russia. This period is called Sovietization of Azerbaijan, invasion of Azerbaijan territories, or Sovietization of Azerbaijan, or it's also known as Azerbaijan SSR. You see, guys, even our flag, our symbols were different than modern Azerbaijan. Yes, so you see, we used different symbols at that time under the pressure of Russia. You see, guys, it was different than modern Azerbaijan. Yes, our flag was different as well. Yes, our flag was red and blue color. Yes, was in blue and red color, and we used hammer in our flag. only 5 stars. Yeah. So when they occupy our territories, guys, they just, of course, Azerbaijanis did not accept Russian occupation at the beginning. We organized uprisings or revolts against Russia, but all of these uprisings, all of these protests against Russia in Azerbaijan were suppressed. Yes, they were crushed by the Russian Empire. They punished people in Azerbaijan who protested Russian occupation. They executed or killed many people in Azerbaijan who protested Russian occupation. For example, those people who created. Yes.
Does protest mean like stand with Russia?
No, protest means like
revolt, rebellion, or how can I say? You don't agree with the occupation. You want to be independent.
You go against it. That's what rebellion means.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, the simple word is rebellion or revolt against someone. Okay, because people were independent. Once they had experienced independence, they didn't want to be to live under the occupation of someone else. Yes, that's why we didn't accept Russian occupation, Azerbaijan people. But you see, guys, Russia was a huge empire. So it wasn't possible to defeat them, to drive them out of Azerbaijan territories, and that's why we failed. They just punished all these revolts, all these protests, all these, let's say, uprisings were suppressed and crushed by the Russian Empire, and all these people involved in the protests against Russia were punished. For example, they killed famous Azerbaijani servicemen or military commanders or statesmen. They were killed by Russia, executed by Russia. For example, let me to give one example. You see these two guys, that Azerbaijan Prime Minister of Azerbaijan, yes, Fethullah Khoiski and Nasip Yusupali. So they were killed by Russia. They were assassinated by Russia, let's say. Yes, for example, Nasip Yusupali and Fethullah Khoiski. The thing is that, guys, while doing these punishments, they used Armenians against us. For example, Nasip Yusupali, the famous Azerbaijani politician, the prime minister of Azerbaijan, and he was killed by Armenians. For example, you see, Russia used Armenians as a tool against Azerbaijan as well. Is it clear so far, or do you understand what I'm talking here? Yes or no? Because it's important part of Azerbaijan history. If you have any question, go on, please. Ayhan, do you understand? Afshin, Babach, Ferit, Melech, Zalil. You are silent. Please tell me if you understand or not. Okay, good.
I understand.
So, especially keep in your mind these two persons, our Azerbaijan politicians, and Fethullah Khoiski and Nasip, they were killed by the Russians. Rest of the politicians, Azerbaijan leadership of Azerbaijan, they fled to other countries. They lived in other countries. For example, Topçubashov, you remember from the previous class, yes, he represented Azerbaijan in Paris Peace Conference. For example, he stayed in Paris, and he could not return back because of the Russian occupation. So I mean, most of the Azerbaijan politicians and intellectuals, in order to avoid repression, oppression, of persecution of Russian Empire, they did not come back to country. They lived in where in other countries, in immigration, let's say, yes. So, for example, do you know Mehmed Emin Rasulzadeh, who was the ideologue, or who was the person gave the idea of creating formation of Azerbaijan, independent Azerbaijan state? Mehmed Emin Rasulzadeh. Have you heard about him? Mehmed Emin Rasulzadeh was the founder of the idea of formation of Azerbaijan independent republic. Yes, who even, guys, he was arrested by Russia. Yes, but later he could escape from the prison, and he came to the Poland, and he lived Poland and Turkey later. Yes, I mean that all of the intellectuals or intelligentsias of Azerbaijan were repressed and oppressed by the Russia. Do you know what's the repression or oppression? I mean, it,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, but can you please explain, Salil?
So is a oppression when like you like attack, like kind of threaten someone?
Threaten someone and put pressure on them and restrict their rights. Yes, persecution or harassment, let's say. How can I say in easy word? Just as it's kind of punishment, yes, or punishment, or so you feel threatened. Usually people feel threatened when there is a oppression or repression. There is a fear in society, and because of the repression, because you are threatened to be killed by the government officials. Okay, that's all. So what about the culture? For example, they did not only occupy our territory, guys. I mean, the Soviet Russia, yes, but they also restricted our some national cultural values. For example, norms. Let's say, for example, Azerbaijan language was restricted. So, for example, people, whenever they spoke in Azerbaijan language, well, they were punished or arrested for because of the using their language, own language. So everyone were required to speak in Russian language, for example. The Russian language was raised to the state level. Yes, all documents, all negotiations, agreements, or domestic speaking, let's say, the people had to speak in Russian language. So Islam religion, for example, we were Muslims, yes. Russians were Christians, yes. But we were Muslims. Our religions were different than each other, yes. But they said that the interesting is that, guys, they either believed in they either accepted Christianity or Islam religion. They didn't believe any religion, actually, Soviet Russia. They spread the idea not believing God, or they restricted our religious ceremonies. For example, do you know what's Oruç? Have you done Oruç? Guys, do you know what's Oruç? Ramazan holiday. Eid, yes, right.
Isn't Oruç where they would only eat in the dark
Yes.
and not in the sunlight?
Yes, it's one of the most important element of Islam religion, yes.
And you only do that for a month.
Yes, but you know what they said that the Oruç was they propagated. They said to the Azerbaijanis the Oruç was unhealthy habit, so that it should be restricted. It should be removed. Okay, they restricted our religious ceremonies. Okay, guys. So you see, they completely changed the way of life, way of living of Azerbaijani people. Their culture, traditions, everything was restricted. So, for example, one more thing as culture, I also already mentioned that they attacked our cultural values. For example, you know what's the tar, chamanta? Tar, chamanta. Have you ever heard about this? Azerbaijan musical instruments.
Yeah. We've got a frame of the Azerbaijan instrument.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
On our wall.
Yeah, the Azerbaijan drum
Yeah.
has the Azerbaijan logo on it, like a flag.
Yeah, so you see, guys, these are Azerbaijan traditional musical instruments of Azerbaijan. Russia, say, after the occupation of Azerbaijan, they as much as possible they did their best to make us forget our history, forget our traditional values, cultural, national values. For example, musical instrument. Yes, they said that tar and chamanta, I mean, musical instrument of Azerbaijan. Yes, they said that. How can I say? Tar was not good for Azerbaijan because it symbolizes the feudal relation, the past. Yes, it was against the modernity. They said. Yes, the tar and chamancha was the how can I say, reminiscence of the past. We should forget them, because we don't need to remember our past. We need to be modernized. Okay, so why we need to remember our past and old things, old musical instruments? Yeah, we should discover new one and the modern one. Yes, they said. So anti-Tar campaign was started by Russia in Azerbaijan. They attacked our cultural values, traditions, everything. Repression, pressure on Azerbaijan cultural values. So of course, what was the purpose? Again, guys, what was the purpose? The main purpose was to make Azerbaijanis forget their history. Yes, everything, national values and history, historical memory, actually. Okay, that it was not the end, guys, but most important thing we need to know is we lost significant portion of Azerbaijan territories during the Soviet occupation, actually. If you remember from the previous class, Azerbaijan during the Democratic Republic, the map of Azerbaijan was that, this one, look. Azerbaijan was even bigger than modern Azerbaijan, yes? You see, guys, how these two maps are different, guys? Can you please tell me? Malaj, can you please tell me how these two maps are different, if you see?
That's the whole of Azerbaijan, the right one.
Yeah, it's modern Azerbaijan territories, yes?
Yes, modern.
But what about the
And
left one? Which one is bigger?
the left one is the olden times. Bigger.
Yeah, especially you see, look, it is the map of the modern democratic Azerbaijan Republic, which exists.
Modern is bigger.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say. Come on.
I
Look.
think the left one's bigger.
Yo, that one is bigger, even included Armenian territories. Look.
That is the old one.
Look, you see, Armenian territories. Yes, Nakhchivan, for example, was combined to the Azerbaijan. Zengezur here, you see. But when it comes to the modern Azerbaijan, Nakhchivan was separated from Azerbaijan, and these parts were given to the Armenia. Yes, look, these parts.
So
Okay.
the modern day is like the old one is smaller than the bigger, like the newer one.
Of course.
Old one is bigger than. So what the point is that Azerbaijan Democratic Republic, which have given in the left side, the map of Azerbaijan Democratic Republic, was bigger than modern Azerbaijan. But what happened when we lost these territories to Armenia? Yes, it is because of the Soviet Russia. They occupied Azerbaijan and gave our territories to the Armenia. Okay. Yes. Do you have any question?
My brother said this about Ashen, but it's bigger because of Soviet Union. Soviet Union was like the biggest country in the world.
It wasn't like older because it had the Soviet Union, but the left one it didn't.
No,
Yeah.
no. The problem is
The
not
Soviet
Soviet.
Union.
I mean, left
Soviet-
one is the map of more democratic Azerbaijan Republic. It's the time Azerbaijan had not been occupied yet. Yes, by the Soviet Empire. But when Azerbaijan was occupied by Russia, they took our land, some of our lands, and gave to the Armenia. Okay, to Armenia. Is it clear? That's why we lost some part of Azerbaijan territories, which we had during the democratic independent Azerbaijan Democratic Republic, during the independent Azerbaijan Republic. Again, left one is the independent Azerbaijan, but right one, in the right side, was the Azerbaijan Republic under the Soviet occupation. Okay, look, guys, again, which territory did we lose during the Soviet occupation? These parts. Look here. All these territories were occupied by, not occupied, but were taken Azerbaijan and given to the Armenia. Let's see which territories. First of all, guys, the first one was Sharur and Jalalias territories, and I mean Sharur Jalalias and Western Zengezur. You see, President Ilham Aliyev always mentioned on the news, if you have watched, he says that the Western Zengezur is under the Armenian control, and this is the Karabakh, the Lach and Chelbezar are the Eastern Zengezur, yes? So when I say Western Zengezur, guys, these territories are Western Zengezur, look. Between Nakhchivan and Karabakh, yes? These territories were taken by the Soviet Union, given to the Armenia. Okay, is it clear? This part, you see, what happened? Azerbaijan, by taking Azerbaijan lands, they separated Nakhchivan from the mainland of Azerbaijan territories. Yes, but have you seen Azerbaijan map? Modern Azerbaijan map. Nakhchivan is very separate from the Azerbaijan. Yes, even we don't have access to the Nakhchivan, direct access. It is separate from the Azerbaijan. Why? Why? Why do you think Nakhchivan is separated from the mainland of Azerbaijan?
Is it because Russia occupied it?
Yeah, no, Russia occupied.
Right,
Yes, sir.
Is it because they gave more land to Armenia, which caused it to split off?
Yes, you see, they took these lands between Nakhchivan and Karabakh and separated Nakhchivan from the mainland of Azerbaijan. Right now, we don't have any connection with the Nakhchivan. Because why? Because in between Nakhchivan and Azerbaijan mainland, there is Armenian territories. Because why? These territories of Armenia are historical Azerbaijan territories, but taken by the Russia and given to the Armenia. That's why I mentioned we lost a significant part of Azerbaijan territories during the Soviet occupation in the 71 years. Okay. Not only they gave our territories to Armenia, but also one territory was given to the Georgia. For example, this Borchalı, Barnueli, okay, Georgia, Borchalı, Karayazi, okay. So overall, we lost the Western Zengezur and some territories in the west to Armenia during the Soviet occupation. We lost some territory to the Georgia. That's why Azerbaijan territories became smaller during the Soviet occupation because of the unfair distribution of Azerbaijan territories between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Okay, is that clear, guys? Again, I will ask you questions. For example, which territories of Azerbaijan were occupied by, no, not occupied, but given to the Armenia? For example, you see, even today, modern Armenian Republic, yes, a significant part of Armenian Republic is Azerbaijan territory. Armenian Republic was set on Azerbaijan territories, guys. Especially Irawan, yes, the southern part of Armenia, especially, yes, is the historical Azerbaijan. But we lost our territories because of why? Because of the Soviet occupation, because of the Russia. They unfairly took our lands and gave to Armenia. Malish, did you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. What about Nakhchivan and Karabakh? Of course, during the Soviet occupation, Armenians also claimed to Nakhchivan and Karabakh territories. However, these territories, Soviet Russia could not take these lands from the Azerbaijan because of the Narman, the Azerbaijan leader at that time. He did not allow to give up our territories to the Armenia, Nakhchivan and Karabakh, I mean. So anyway, Nakhchivan and Karabakh was given autonomy, only autonomy, but within Azerbaijan territories, under the Azerbaijan country. Yes, Farid. Do you have any question?
I wasn't raising my hand.
Okay. And okay, let me ask you a question, guys. One, you see, Narman Narmanov, famous Azerbaijan politician, who was the leader of Azerbaijan SSR. He ruled Azerbaijan during the Soviet occupation, I mean the Russian occupation. And okay, that's all. You keep in your mind his name. And I have put a few questions here. First one is, how was Azerbaijan exposed to the repression and oppression during the Soviet occupation? Who can explain? How was Azerbaijan exposed to repression and I mean repression and aggression, let's say, or oppression? How was Azerbaijan?
It
Yes.
was like the Soviet Union tried to they stopped the Democratic Republic of Azerbaijan, and so they then changed their culture and made them like forget all of the past, like what they did in the past. Like they wanted them to forget about Azerbaijan and become like Russians.
Yeah. Now religion was restricted, religious ceremonies, beliefs, okay, and everything. They restricted us to use our own language. Russian language was raised to the state level, okay. Guys, Afshin, can you please explain again how Azerbaijan was exposed to the repression during the Soviet Union? Yeah, I already explained that how.
So somebody.
Yes, Farid, go on, please.
That the Azerbaijans wanted to forget that they were Azerbaijans and wanted to be like Russians.
Yeah. Our culture, our history, our language.
And they wanted to forget the history. They wanted to change their language to speak Russian, and they wanted to like change their culture.
Yeah. So, for example, the musical instruments such as chaman, chayas was restricted and started to be seen as a undemocratic musical instruments, anti-modernization, let's say, instruments. That's why they needed should be forgotten actually. Okay, good. Ayhan. Ayhan, do you hear me? Okay. Which Azerbaijan territories separated from Azerbaijan and given to the Armenia and Georgia? Do you remember? For example, during the independent Azerbaijan, our territories was approximately 200,000 square kilometers. However, and after the Soviet occupation, when they gave our territories to Armenia, okay, our territories became only 86.6 thousand kilometers square, okay? So you see significant decrease in the territories of Azerbaijan. We lost significant part of Azerbaijan territories, yes? So, Ayhan, yes. We lost Western Zangezur. Take note, please. Western Zangezur. Western Zangezur. Oh, sorry. Western Zangezur. Zangezur. Porchalı to Georgia, Western Zangezur to Armenia, Sharur, Dar Elias. Okay, these territories separated from Azerbaijan, we lost all of them to the Armenia. But what about Karabakh and Nakhchivan? Did we lose Nakhchivan and Karabakh? Malek, did we lose the Karabakh and Nakhchivan territories during Soviet occupation?
They got occupied. Did they get occupied?
Did they give our territory to the Nakhchivan and Karabakh to Armenia or no? Why Armenians today claim that Karabakh belongs to them? But they couldn't. Soviet Russia could not take our Nakhchivan and Karabakh. So Armenians claim that Nakhchivan and Karabakh belong to them, but because of the protest of Azerbaijan government, Soviet Russia could not give our territories, especially Nakhchivan and Karabakh, to them. Yes, that's why it was a controversial issue. That's why they agreed to give Armenians in Karabakh autonomy, but within Azerbaijan territories. I mean that Nakhchivan and Karabakh remained under the control of Azerbaijan, but given autonomy. Do you know what's the autonomy?
Yes.
Autonomy. What is autonomy? Autonomic Republic, for example.
I think I've heard of it in.
Autonomy is something that you are free in your internal affairs, but not external foreign policy. Let's say you are not free. You cannot do what you want, but you are free in your internal policy. For example, you can make any law or make any decision in your internal affairs, and okay, but not you cannot have any agreement with the foreign state. Okay, that's all. Yes, go ahead, guys. If you have any question, go on, please.
Autonomy means like independence.
Not fully independence. Autonomy means that you are free in your internal affairs, but not foreign affairs. For example, let's take
Nakhchivan. That's what I said.
Yeah, but
Nakhchivan, for example, Nakhchivan, yes, within Azerbaijan. Nakhchivan is a republic, autonomic republic within Azerbaijan. Does it mean that Nakhchivan is an independent state? No, it is not an independent state. It is part of Azerbaijan. Okay, because it is autonomy. It has certain freedom, independence in the internal affairs, but it is Azerbaijan territory, internationally recognized Azerbaijan territory, and according to the Azerbaijan constitution, Nakhchivan is a part of Azerbaijan. For example, yes, there is a discussion right now. Armenians wants to be independent in Karabakh, yes, but Azerbaijan says that we can give Armenians autonomy in Karabakh, but we cannot give them independence. Okay, because Karabakh is Azerbaijan territory, we cannot give them independence. Okay, but Armenians want independence, completely free from the Azerbaijan in Karabakh, but it is not acceptable for us because Karabakh is internationally recognized Azerbaijan territory. But we say that we can give you autonomy, you can be free in your internal affairs, but you cannot completely independent state. Did you understand what's autonomy? Okay, that's all. That's why, guys, during the Soviet Union, Karabakh and Nakhchivan, they were autonomic republics, but not independent autonomic republics within Azerbaijan. Okay, that's all from my side for today. This is the very important part of Azerbaijan history. I just want to give you a task for the next week. Because
by the way,
as far as I know, as far as I have observed, you forget our previous lesson. So, but as I mentioned before, it's an important part of Azerbaijan history. You need to look at the materials and you need to revise topics, okay? So I will ask you to revise 2 topics, Azerbaijan Democratic Republic and occupation of Azerbaijan by Soviet Union, okay? For the next class. Is it okay for you?
Yes.
So I will ask you questions from the previous 2 topics because as I already mentioned, it's an important topic for us now.
Also, on the critical thinking, we didn't do the second one.
Yes, which one? Why do you think yes. Why do you think traditional holidays, religious ceremonies were restricted? Why do you think, guys?
Was it because Soviet Russia like occupied Azerbaijan and like because of their independence they Soviet Russia they didn't want it, so they didn't allow them to do the
Yeah. What
The
would
race
happen if?
was on November 19th.
Yes, you're right.
November 9th.
But what would happen if, let's say, Russia would allow Azerbaijanis to use to perform their own religious beliefs, tradition, holidays? What would happen? They wanted us to completely forget and feel ourselves like the Russians. Soviet
Would
idea.
the Russians then like become like Azerbaijans?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes, they wanted to form a new identity, Soviet identity. Now, what's the Soviet identity? You don't believe any religion, and you are speaking Russian language. Everyone should be friend within the Russian Empire, I mean the Soviet Empire. There were 15 republics within the Soviet Union, guys. The idea was that all of them had to be friend, had to live peacefully together. It was Soviet ideology, okay? And no man, and so you cannot maybe understand what is that. Please, can you please ask your parents, because they lived during the Soviet Union. They were born during the Soviet Union, yes. Please ask your parents. And what is this? Can you please tell me about Soviet Azerbaijan? You can ask the same question to your grandparents as well, because they also lived in Soviet period. Okay. That's all, I think. I'm going to find that. Guys, who was Nerman Nermanov? Who was Nerman Nermanov? Azerbaijan, leader of Azerbaijan, Soviet Azerbaijan, Azerbaijan SSR during the Soviet occupation. He wanted to be free and free independent republic, but with the Soviet ideology. However, he failed. Actually, he didn't want to give up some territories to Armenia. That's why he was actually removed from his position, and someone else brought to the Azerbaijan leadership. Guys, you know, Azerbaijan was ruled by non-Azerbaijanis during that period. For example, the Christians, Armenians ruled Azerbaijan territories in between approximately 30 years. Azerbaijan was not ruled by Azerbaijanis. Azerbaijan was ruled by non-Azerbaijani peoples. For example, Armenians, Jewish people, and Russians, Georgians, but not by us. Okay, that's all, guys. If you have any question, go on, please. If you don't have,
I don't have any questions.
do you have question?
I don't.
I'm waiting. Tal, do you have any question?
No.
Malaj, Ayhan, do you have any question?
No,
Okay.
I don't have
Bye.
I don't hear you guys. What happens? Okay. If you don't have question, bye-bye. Please revise topics, okay, for the next class. I'll share my presentations.
Bye.
See you
Is it
next
going to be in
week.
classroom?
Take care. Take care.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.